morning. So you join me this morning in the very picturesque, if slightly damp, Derbyshire village of Sterndale. So the idea of today's walk is we're going to do Crome Hill, which is a limestone ridge. Before we do that, we're off to at the top of High Wheeldon to get the trig point ticked off. So another one done as we try and get as many of the Peak District trig points as we can get. So I normally save this to the end of the video, but I'll bore you with it now. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be awesome. You'll see as much content as I can put out on my rambles. A like would also be very much appreciated, and any questions, any comments, I always enjoy reading those. So I hope you're going to enjoy this as much as I know I'm going to. It's been very wet on the way over here, so it'll be very boggy underfoot, but I do like a challenge, don't I? It's been well documented so far. I was hoping when we got to the top that we'd be able to see some views into the valley, but the clouds descended, which you should have expected really. So I'm going to head back down and we're out to this wind a bit. I'll catch up with you a little bit of info about why this is here. So after a bit of a wet and slippy slide down High Wheeldon, so I'd catch you up on a bit of info about it. So following the Second World War, in 1946 the land was granted to the National Trust to be used as a monument for the men and women who lost their lives during the conflict, and the plaque at the top of the trig point has words to that effect, which I hope you were able to read earlier on this. So I was really hoping we'd be able to get down, looking down at the valley. I think it's Dovedale Valley and the Manifold Valley in Staffordshire, but obviously the weather's against us on that point. So hope you enjoyed looking at some clouds. So ahead of us here is Parkhouse Hill. So this hill here tops out about 360 metres above sea level and is the remains of what was once upon a time, some 360 million years ago, a coral atoll, a coral reef. It forms a reasonably long ridge. It's quite striking against everything else around here, so it's gained the local name, along with Crome Hill, of the Dragon's Back. And I dare say that there's some folklore attached to that, but I honestly don't know. I'd be genuinely amazed if there wasn't. I mean, you don't call something the Dragon's Back and then not make up some local myth or legend, do you? So I'm going to keep squelching through this field here, and then I'm going to climb a dragon. First part of the dragon's conquered. Top of Parkhouse Hill. Oh, it's a bit blustery up here, as you can probably hear, so I'm not standing on the highest point because it's a sheer drop down there, and I don't fancy that. Look at the views up here. I mean, we we can see where we were previously. All the way down on High Wheeldon. This is what I'd hoped for. Given the conditions, you can't ask for it to be much nicer up here than this. So it's been a bit of a slippy climb up here. It's very wet, and wet plus limestone equals slipping. So anyone who fancies doing this, I'd advise coming in the dry. So I can't remember the last day where it was completely dry around here, so probably ill-advised on my part. But now I'm up, I've got to get down, haven't I? So let's press on. Well, I won't lie to you. That hill behind us there is by far the scariest descent I've ever had on my walks. Incredibly muddy. You can see on the road I'm walking on just how much water there is around the place. So the limestone is like sheet ice. And going down there in places, it's near enough vertical. So I've lost count of the amount of times I've fallen over and I'm feeling quite battered and bruised. So decided to give this dragon the respect it deserves, and Chrome Hill is going to stay to my left now. I'm not even going to try and tackle it. With how strong the wind is up there as well, I can see this causing me damage. So I'm going a slightly different route, still enjoying the views, and yeah, going back to lick my wounds for a bit. But I suppose at least I'm doing the sensible thing, because I want to be able to record more of these. I don't want to hurt myself. Sometimes it's worth just looking at your plan, thinking whether or not you need to change it. In this case, I definitely think this was the right idea. So here we are back on the original route, heading back towards Elstendon now. I think I made the right call not doing Chrome Hill today. As the clouds descended and it's made visibility quite poor, so after I'm licking my wounds from Parkhouse, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed being up there as much as I should have done. So perhaps, you know, when the weather's better and conditions are more favourable, I might come back and do the next part of the dragon. But for now, I think I made the right call, just to postpone it for now. One thing I should have mentioned earlier on the way around Parkhouse is that there's quite a rare phenomenon that occurs just a couple of times a year around the equinoxes. If you're lucky enough and you stand in the right place on Glutton's Bridge and the conditions are right, you may see a double sunset. The formation of the ridge and the rotation of the Earth means that you will see the sun set behind, I believe, the northern part of the ridge first, rise again, and then set behind the southern part. So as far as I'm aware, it's the only place in the UK, if not the entire world, where you'll see this, although I'll happily be told if I'm wrong on that one. Please inform me, I would be interested. But yeah, it wasn't documented until the late 90s, and wasn't recorded till a few years after that. So I'm sure if you're interested and you do a bit of Googling, you might see something. Oh, so I'm making my way back down towards Elstendon now. Still got a fair way to go. But, I'm disappointed I was beaten today, but at the same time, safety comes first. And sometimes you just got to go with your gut feeling and change your plan. But yeah, we can always come back at a later time, can't we? So we're almost back now in Sterndale, which marks about 5.25 miles as a round trip. I must say, on reflection, it's a disappointing walk for me. I know I set the beginning of the video up that we'll be doing Crome Hill. I apologise that we didn't, but it just didn't feel like a safe choice today. So safety first, and there's always later times, I'm sure. So please accept my apologies. But it's now become a bit of a nemesis, so it's one that I'm going to beat myself up about until I've done it. So I think we can guarantee I'm going to have a go at it in the relatively near future. So if you wouldn't mind, as I said at the beginning of the video, liking and subscribing. If there's anything you'd rather see or see me do differently, or any comments, I really would appreciate them. It'll help me see what you guys want. But in the meantime, happy walking.